The Standing Committee on Finance, chaired by Veerappa Moily, has questioned RBI Governor Urijit Patel on the Nirav Modi Punjab National Bank fraud and his alleged money laundering activities, which duped the bank of over 11,000 crores. Now, joining us for more on that story is Himanshu Shekhar Mishra. Himanshu, what more do we know about what the RBI Governor has said?
The most of the questions that today in a 3-hour briefing that he did before the Standing Committee on Finance were linked to the PNB scam and the Nirav Modi's role in that scam. What we know from sources is that most of the MPs kept on asking the RBI Governor as to why Nirav Modi managed to get away with those LOUs that were being sent from Nirav Modi to Nirav Modi without any collaterals. How did this happen? Why did the RBI supervisory process failed to stop him from doing what he was doing? So in his reply, verbally he did not reply, but in his written reply that he has submitted before the Standing Committee on Finance, he has said 3-4 very important things, Ankita. First is, he has said that the RBI supervisory process does not constitute an audit of banks. He has very directly indicated to the Standing Committee on Finance that when it comes to the functioning of public sector banks, RBI does not have much of regulatory powers to regulate or audit the functioning of public sector banks. A second thing the RBI Governor has said in the context of Nirav Modi case is that with the number of commercial bank branches being more than 1,16,000, it would be impossible to cover each and every branch of the banks under the RBI's supervisory process. And the third thing he has said, the RBI Governor, in a written reply, is that RBI has issued detailed instructions to banks for putting in place and strengthening their audit control system. So in the 3-hour of briefing that he did today, the common point that came out, a senior member of the Standing Committee on Finance has told me that it is very clear now that when it comes to the functioning of public sector banks, RBI has very limited powers. And that is why the Standing Committee on Finance has decided that in the report that it is going to submit before Parliament of India on the Nirav Modi fraud case and also on the NPH crisis, is that the committee will recommend to Parliament that when it comes to the functioning of public sector banks, RBI must be given more powers to regulate public sector banks, because public sector banks have been set up through statutes, while the private banks are being set up as are registered largely as companies which RBI can regulate. But when it comes to public sector banks, RBI has very limited role, and that is why to strengthen RBI's supervisory capabilities, to give it more legal powers to regulate and audit the functioning of public sector banks, it would be important that RBI is given more powers to do that. Ankita.